Across the endless plains of Texas, where the horizon burns gold beneath the evening sun, a quiet war unfolds. It's not fought with borders or banners, but with hooves, tusks, and torn soil. From the pine woods of East Texas to the dry mesquite scrub of the Panhandle, a new kind of invader has taken hold. One that roots, multiplies, and moves with silent determination. The land here has always been defined by endurance. Generations of ranchers, farmers, and hunters have worked its unpredictable rhythm. Floods one season, drought the next, storms that flatten barns and test faith. But now the challenge doesn't come from the sky or the river. It comes from below the trees, from the wild feral swine that have turned Texas into ground zero of one of America's fastest moving ecological crises. Welcome to NEO Farm, where the stories of people and the land are told with honesty and with a deep respect for nature. No one can pinpoint the exact moment it began. Feral pigs, descendants of domestic hogs brought by Spanish settlers in the 1500s, later joined by imported Eurasian boars, have always been part of the Texas wild. But what was once a manageable presence exploded into an epidemic. In less than a decade, their numbers skyrocketed from 2 million to nearly 4 million across the state, more than in any other part of the United States combined. From Bastrop's forest to the edges of the Red River Valley, they move under the moonlight in herds that can number in the hundreds. Each sow births multiple litters per year. Each litter can carry up to 10 piglets. With no natural predators and an endless buffet of crops, acorns, roots, and garbage, their population doubles faster than Texas can react. They are strong, intelligent, and relentless. A single adult boar can weigh over 300 pounds and run through barbed wire like mist. They dig deep trenches across ranch land in search of grubs, uprooting irrigation systems, and breaking through wooden fences that once kept cattle in line. They carry more than 25 infectious diseases, including brucellosis, pseudorabies, and the looming threat of African swine fever, a virus that, if it spreads, could devastate the state's multi-billion-dollar pork industry. By the time most people notice the signs, the shredded earth, the overturned feeders, the bent metal gates, it's already too late. In Fayette County, rice fields look like they've been bombed from above. In the hill country, freshly planted vineyards, the pride of a growing Texas wine scene, have been reduced to tangled wreckage overnight. They trample hay bales, eat seedlings, and even kill young livestock when desperate for protein. One farmer in Williamson County described waking up to find his 60-acre cornfield flattened in a single night. They came through like a wave, he said, no noise, no warning, just gone. The destruction doesn't stop at the fences. In East Texas, feral hogs dig through wetland soil so aggressively they cause massive erosion, destroying duck habitats and choking the waters with silt. Their rooting stirs up buried nutrients, triggering algae blooms in creeks and rivers. They eat ground-nesting bird eggs, newborn fawns, and even the rare Texas tortoise. What they don't eat, they infect, through feces, saliva, and blood that spreads across the landscape like invisible ink. Every year, Texas loses more than $500 million to feral hog damage. But money can't measure the deeper cost. The exhaustion, the futility, the feeling of watching your life's work undone night after night. At first, Texans fought back the way they knew best, with grit and guns. Hunters set up steel traps the size of pickup beds, baited with corn and molasses. They built fences higher, ran dogs faster, and spent long nights under porch lights listening for movement. But hogs are quick learners. Within weeks, they'd recognize the scent of metal, the echo of a latch, or the rhythm of human footsteps. They avoided old trails, changed feeding hours, and used terrain to disappear. So the battle evolved. What started as scattered efforts turned into statewide coordination. County task forces formed. Farmers and hunters joined hands. Biologists, engineers, and state wildlife officials built a network that stretched from the pine flats of Nacogdoches to the brush country near Laredo. Helicopter hunting, once controversial, became a crucial tool. Pilots flying low over ravines and creeks used thermal imaging to spot herds at dawn. With permission from landowners, they culled hundreds in a single morning, a warning, reducing immediate damage. But the most revolutionary weapon wasn't firepower, it was information. In Bastrop County, a group of young ranchers formed what they called the Hog Net. Using motion sensors, cellular cameras, and drones, they tracked herd movements across dozens of properties. Each trap, known as a smart corral, was equipped with live video feeds. When enough pigs entered, the system triggered remotely via smartphone, dropping the gate at once. One push of a button could capture an entire sounder, not just a few. Meanwhile, researchers at Texas A&M developed AI-driven models predicting migration patterns based on rainfall, vegetation cycles, and food availability. They mapped how drought pushed hogs towards suburban areas, especially near Austin, San Antonio, and the outskirts of Dallas, where manicured lawns, trash bins, and golf course ponds became their new feeding grounds. Even with all this technology, the wild still had the upper hand. Every hunt revealed something new. A shift in behavior, an adaptation no one expected. Feral hogs learned to recognize the hum of drones. They split into smaller groups. They moved through culverts, under roads, along riverbeds no helicopter could follow. Technology made the fight smarter, but not easier. In the heart of the Sam Houston National Forest, scientists return each year with clipboards and drones, measuring the damage that never seems to stop spreading. What once looked like the gentle scars of rooting has become a landscape reshaped by force, 1,000 acres at a time. The soil, once bound by roots and moisture, now lies exposed and bleeding into the creeks. Rain carries it downhill, clouding the clear waters that used to slip like glass through the pines. Where bluebonnets once bloomed in spring, mats of thorn and weed now sprawl across the earth, choking the young oak and pine that should have been the forest's future. But this isn't just a story of man versus beast. It's the story of imbalance, a mirror held up to everything we've changed without meaning to. The feral hogs didn't appear out of spite. They appeared because something else disappeared. The wolves are gone. The cougars have been pushed to the margins, seen only as fleeting shadows caught on trail cams. Coyotes try, but they can't keep up. And in their absence, the pigs march unchecked, multiplying in a world that we've made comfortable for them. Fields of corn, feeders meant for deer, water tanks built for cattle. To a wild boar, it's not civilization, it's invitation. Nature doesn't hold grudges, and it doesn't wage war. It adjusts. It fills every empty niche, every mistake we leave behind. And if we want to survive inside that system, we have to learn to adjust too. Faster, smarter, more humbly. Across Texas, ecologists and land managers are rethinking what control really means. Some teams are testing fertility treatments, slow-acting immunocontraceptives hidden in bait that can sterilize sows before they breed again. The method is experimental but promising. Others are redesigning the land itself, planting buffer crops that hogs find unappealing, reshaping stream banks, and using scent-based deterrents that mimic predators long extinct from these woods. But no solution comes without a cost. Fertility control that can take years to show effect. Landscape engineering demands money and patience most landowners don't have. Even the smartest technology can fail when faced with instinct honed over millennia. Every idea carries its own risks, its own backlash. And so the fight becomes a cycle. Destruction, adaptation, renewal, repeated over and over as if the land itself is teaching us the same lesson in different forms, that no amount of force can outsmart nature forever. The truth is, this isn't about winning. It's about learning how to live with what we've unleashed and how to keep the balance from tipping any further than it already has. In small towns across Texas, from Gonzales to Hondo, local groups host hog rodeos, community events that bring ranchers, scientists, and hunters together. They share stories, data, and strategies, turning frustration into fellowship. Kids learn to recognize hog tracks before they can drive. Farmers swap updates over CB radios, sounder crossing by the creek, heading north. Drones hum above the mesquite. The fight continues, not just against a species, but against complacency. What's emerging isn't simply resistance, it's resilience. Texans aren't trying to erase the wild, they're trying to restore balance. It's a constant negotiation between case and control, between technology and instinct, between what grows and what consumes. At dawn, the Texas sky opens wide, a sheet of copper and fire over the land. Fields scarred by hooves begin to green again. The air smells faintly of mesquite smoke and fresh soil. Somewhere in the distance, a single wild boar grunts, a reminder that the work is never done. The feral hogs are not villains. They are a reflection of how quickly nature fills every gap, how it reclaims what humans neglect. But when their numbers rise beyond what the land can hold, the line between coexistence and collapse blurs. So the people of Texas watch, listen, and adapt. They learn the rhythms of the night, the patterns of the earth. They understand that this is not a war to win, but a duty to endure. Because balance is not a destination, it's a practice. And in Texas, where the land has always demanded respect, that practice continues. Sunrise after sunrise, generation after generation. NEO Farm, where people listen to the land and speak its story in its own voice, with honesty, courage, and endurance.